My girlfriend, we'll call her Katie, and I met in college and have been together for 4 years. I'm the first person she's ever had a relationship with because her parents were strict in high school. Our parents are religious and don't believe in sex before marriage, and while I don't really care, she's very close with her parents, so we've been waiting. Now that she's graduated, I was planning on proposing within the next few months. I had a ring picked out and everything. I was head over heels for this girl. That all changed last night. Or, last weekend, really. Katie has had a male best friend since high school that her parents never liked because he claimed to be gay. Let's call him Liam. She was excited to be going to the same college as him, because it meant they could hang out as much as they wanted. I've never been a big fan of the male best friend thing, but he's gay, so whatever. Except 2 years ago, he came out as bisexual. I never really liked the vibes when he was around her, so I asked Katie to stop hanging out with him alone. She accused me of not being supportive of him and trying to control her, just like her parents. I told her it was her choice if she wanted to keep seeing him alone, but I wouldn't be sticking around for it. It was the biggest problem we'd ever had in our relationship, but we worked through it. The compromise was that Liam and his boyfriend could hang out with me and my girlfriend together, as couples, but never alone. I never wanted to cut her off from her friends. With this stipulation, however, the 4 of us only got together twice before Liam ended up transferring to a different college over the summer. My girlfriend stayed in contact with them over Discord, stayed friends with both of them when they broke up, and formed a gaming server with them and some of their other friends. Most of these friends were men, but she assured me nothing funny was going on. Most of them even had girlfriends, she said. Last weekend was Liam's birthday party, and he invited her. Katie wanted to talk to me about it first, to make sure I was okay with it. She said she wanted to go since she hadn't seen him in 2 years, and it was only a 2-hour drive away. A bunch of her friends from the Discord server that she had never met in person before were going to be there, women included, and Liam's girlfriend would be there too. Since I had a weekend trip planned, leaving Friday, returning Sunday, I unfortunately wouldn't be able to go with her, but I told Katie I trusted her and had no problems with her going to see her friends. The problem started Saturday night. She texted me in the morning when she was leaving for the party, she texted me when she got there, and she texted me a couple times throughout to check in. Katie told me that she had planned on driving back around 9 or 10, but it was around that time that the text messages stopped. I assumed she was just having a good time and didn't want to seem controlling, so I didn't bother her. I did stay up to watch her location and make sure she got home, though, and she did, around 2 a.m. It was unusual, but I trusted her, and didn't want to make any assumptions. I would call her in the morning and she would explain that she just got carried away having fun with her friends, I thought. I called her Sunday morning, and she didn't answer. She texted back a few minutes that she had been sleeping, had a hangover, and wasn't feeling well. That was very strange, because Katie doesn't drink. I told her to drink lots of water and that I hoped she felt better, and got on my flight home. When I arrived at my apartment, I found her curled up in my bed in the dark. She has a key to my apartment, but hardly ever needs it because usually I'm with her to do the unlocking. I asked her why she hadn't stayed at her apartment to rest up, but she didn't say anything. Since then, the entire week, she has been saying she's not feeling well, and has not left my room. She's taken off work, and I've been going home on my lunch breaks to make sure she was eating. I was worried about her, but in the back of my mind, I was also suspicious about what had happened at the party over the weekend. Late last night, Katie woke me up from the couch sobbing. It was the first time she had left my room since I'd gotten home, other than to use the bathroom. I consoled her until she had calmed down enough to be coherent, and asked her what was wrong. She told me she had done something horrible. She told me Saturday night, she had somehow gotten really drunk on accident, and Liam offered to drive her home. 3 of her friends from the gaming server on Discord got in a second car to follow them, to take Liam back home after they got to Katie's apartment. They helped her up the stairs and into her apartment. Then, she said, she had sex with them. All of them. All 4 men. Katie said she doesn't remember most of it, that she was really out of it and didn't know what was going on. She said she's been sick ever since trying to figure out how to tell me, because she loves me so much and didn't want to hurt me. Didn't want to hurt me, but gave away her virginity, that she was supposedly saving for marriage, to 4 other men, instead of the man who spent the past 4 years caring for her. She said she wanted to tell me right when I got back, which is why I found her in my apartment, but she couldn't bring herself to because she didn't want to lose me. She begged me not to break up with her. I told her I needed some time to myself to think. She then begged me not to make her go back to her apartment. I didn't feel like fighting, so I just told her she could go back into my room. I could hear her crying intermittently all night. I have to admit I was brought to tears myself. I can't believe how she would throw away our whole relationship, the 4 years we've built together, over one party. I was going to propose soon. I trusted her, and now it's broken. I'm at work, and I haven't been able to focus all day. Part of me wants to tell her to get out the second I get home, if she's still there, and that I never want to see again. Part of me wants to talk to her more and see if there's anything left to salvage. I can't tell which side is more unreasonable. Update 1. Then, she said, she had sex with them. All of them. All 4 men. Oop. The way I framed it is the way she framed it. I tried to keep this post focused on facts, to garner unbiased responses. The words used to describe what happened are all hers. I don't think she lied to me at all. She's always been very honest, and has very clearly been torn up about this ever since it happened. I've seen a lot of comments starting to come in suggesting that she was raped. That's not what she said happened, but everyone is making some pretty good points that I hadn't considered, hadn't thought of because of how emotional I've been. I think it's possible that she could be in denial, though not entirely convinced that's what happened without talking to her. I'll try to gently ask her about that when I get home. I genuinely hope it's not the case. As upset as I've been at her cheating on me, I'd rather it all have been consensual than not. I would never wish anything like that on her. So imagine 4 dudes roofie and run a train on you. You're hurt, worried about disease, and while you know it was against the law, you're worried about the cops believing you. You are worried what your brothers will think, about your employer, future employers, family, mutual friends, since one of them was one of your closest friends. Truly, consider what you would do if 4 guys raped you and how easy a decision it would be to report it. Update 2. My girlfriend has gone to bed early and I have nothing better to do, so I'm finally getting a chance to write this. First, something you can skip through to the actual update if you don't care. I think my other post was taken down for being fake. One of the biggest reasons people seemed to think it was fake was because I wasn't spending time in the comments denying every accusation. I hadn't even opened Reddit since I left work to go check on Katie. It wasn't anywhere near my top priority at the time. For some quick and easy debunking, though, one moment he says he has her location and the next he's surprised she's at his apartment. I checked her location Saturday night solely to make sure she got home okay. After that, I did not check her location, because I am not a stalker who tracks her every move. On iPhone, it shows your location in the text messages with that person, so he either hadn't looked at their texts at all between his flight and getting home, or it's made up. Not everyone has an iPhone like you. I do, but my girlfriend doesn't, so we use an app. And no, I don't get notifications from the app because again, I don't need to be a stalker. The random excessive details. Sorry? Like I mentioned, I had been stewing on everything since she told me what happened that night, and I just wanted to get it all out. Those were all the details I'd had floating around in my head surrounding the situation. The update is full of typos while the main text is immaculate. Op only wrote the update and the TL. Doctor, my apologies for being a bit of a mess and in a rush after realizing my girlfriend might have been raped. That's my bad. I've gone back and fixed them, by the way. I had no idea my post would get hundreds of more comments after I closed Reddit that would skeptically analyze everything I wrote to the letter. There's absolutely no concern that she's gotten pregnant? No worries about STIs? Not at the time, no. I didn't even know if I was going to stay with her. Pregnancy and STIs would have been a concern if I did, but at the point of writing, I believed she had cheated on me, and was leaning towards breaking up with her. No worries that she was potentially drugged and raped? Again, not at the time of writing. I was still reeling from what she had told me. That she had sex with 4 men. She didn't say anything about getting drugged or being raped, which was something I would have assumed she'd have mentioned. That was before I read all the comments that she may be in denial herself, which hadn't even occurred to me. So this religious girl who wanted to wait for marriage suddenly wanted a train run on her? Obviously fake. No, as it turns out, she did not want any part of what happened. For everyone who said someone in my position wouldn't have taken the time to write everything out for a post. Well, look at the rest of the subreddit. If people in sticky situations didn't post about them, there wouldn't be any posts on here at all. And to everyone who suggested either it was fake or she must have been a cow for 4 men to carry her up the stairs, you can personally fuck off. Everything above was a whole load of presumptuous BS, though I do wish everything I wrote wasn't true. I left work a little before lunch and immediately went home to check on my girlfriend. She was as I had left her, curled up in bed and crying. The first thing I did was just go hold her, after asking for consent. I cried with her. After a while, I gently brought up what happened that night. Did she actually want any of that to happen? A lot was said, but long story short, as many of you suggested, she did not. To clear some things up, these friends that she was with at the party were not just random people she met online. They were personal friends of Liam, who she had been best friends with for 8 years. These friends, while she herself never met them in person, were people she had talked to and gamed with over the past year or so. I would hear her talking with them over the headset, and I never noticed anything strange. She's pretty shy and introverted, so I was happy for her to have friends to play with while she gamed. They weren't all men, either. From what she said, there were 4 or 5 women in the server as well. Of the people at the party, 3 of the men and 2 of the women attended. Also there were Liam's girlfriend, a couple of other friends, and a few of their partners. All in all, there were only around 15 guests, and everyone knew each other for the most part. It was never meant to be a huge thing, just a get-together of Liam's closest friends at his house. Alcohol wasn't even supposed to be a big part of it. At the beginning of the party, a lot of them just gamed together, since they hadn't been able to in person for a while. There was no big girl/guy separation, as a lot of people at the party were LGBT+. Some people got in little groups to chat together, just general mingling, etc. About midway through the party, one of the guests poured everyone some mystery shots. Katie rejected it at first. Liam, however, urged her to, for his birthday. When everyone else heard she'd never taken a shot before, they all egged her on, too. It was just one shot. Liam insisted it would wear off well before time for her to head home, and if not, she could just wait however much longer until she felt comfortable driving. She felt like she had to. From that point, things got a little less clear. There was more hanging out. There was more alcohol. People, she wasn't sure which ones, kept handing her drinks and insisting. She didn't want to ruin Liam's party, and she knew if nothing else, he would look out for her. She didn't feel right, but Katie said she thought he would have told her if something was wrong, and he kept telling her everything was okay. She remembers feeling really sick. She remembers seeing others passed out on the couch. She remembers Liam saying he wanted to personally take her home, driving her car, to make sure she was okay. He felt bad he had let her get so fucked up, he said. She remembers one of her friends from Discord telling Liam he would follow them in his car to take Liam back after, and she remembers 2 more guys from the Discord getting in his car. She remembers Liam giving her a bottle of water in the car to help her sober up. She remembers them carrying her up the stairs to her apartment and laughing. Being brought inside her apartment. I'm not going to describe any further than that. She didn't want any of what happened. Was she naive? Maybe. Did she probably miss some red flags, make some choices she shouldn't have? Sure. Katie did not deserve that. The fault belongs with the men who did it. She didn't want to file a police report, and I'm not giving her an ultimatum. I've read up a lot on how horrific that can be, and I'm in full support of her decision. Of course, if she ever changes her mind and decides she does want to file a report, I'll be there for her through that, too. What we are going to do is see a doctor. Part of the reason Katie says she spent most of this time curled up in bed is that she has been in a lot of pain. She really doesn't want to be poked and prodded at down there, but after some convincing and assurance, she agreed. She's going to be seen on Monday, and also going to get pregnancy and STI testing, which we're equally worried about, done while we're there. Over the weekend, we've talked a lot. We've both cried a lot. There's been lots of hugs, and giving sauce when needed. I have opened the curtains in the bedroom so she gets sunlight in there, at least. For anyone who is concerned, no, I'm not making her go back to her apartment. For the assholes who suggested it, no, I'm not leaving her, before or after her healing, to find someone who isn't damaged, and no, I will not be ratting her out to her parents. I'm taking the entirety of next week off to stay home and take care of her, go to as many doctor's appointments as needed, set up therapy, etc. I don't think I can ever make up for leaving her alone the way I did this past week, but I will be there for her through anything and everything that comes next, whatever that may mean. Again, thank you to everyone for my first post who helped me realize what an egocentric dumbass I was being. I hope this update helps everyone who is concerned. Katie isn't okay right now, but hopefully we can get there. Oop, I think I've heard of that before. I'll look into it more, thank you for the advice. Oop, after someone brought it up on my last post, I looked into it, and honestly what happens to rape victims who report is terrible. They are re-traumatized over, and over, and over again throughout every single step. Not to mention the victim blaming. I will never blame her for not wanting to put herself through that, but I will support her 100% of the way if she ever decides she does want to. Now on to second story. Fiancé knowingly endangered me and our unborn child by using my allergen-filled detergent. Now I've changed my will entirely. My fiancé and I recently bought a house together. We got basic things from his family, as housewarming gifts. His grandmother gifted us a huge package of laundry detergent. Now here is where the problem starts. I used to be highly allergic against most laundry detergents. I am not talking about some uncomfortable itchiness or whatever, but vomiting, diarrhea, losing my eyesight temporarily and at the end my consciousness. I have been hospitalized for this multiple times already. We are using 2 brands I am not allergic against. He keeps complaining that they don't smell that good. Which might be true, they aren't really fragrant and I know he used to drown his clothes in fabric softener to make them smell nice. I offered to slowly start trying new laundry detergents, because he keeps complaining and those 2 aren't easily accessible in his home country, but definitely not in the foreseeable future, as I am 8 months pregnant and very afraid of the possible consequences. We still have more than enough of the safe ones. He agreed and I thought the topic was done, but then his brother gifted us baby clothes. My fiancé kept commenting how good they smelled and how badly he wants our clothes to smell like this. I sorted through them and after I was around halfway done, I noticed that I felt kinda off. My hands felt weird, my body felt wrong, so I washed every body part that touched those clothes and refused to touch them without gloves. My fiancé bought them for me, so he definitely knows that I am still allergic against some detergents. Well, he still decided to use the gifted laundry detergent on our towels. I didn't notice until I started folding them and putting them away. My hands started to get hot and kind of numb/itchy. At first I was afraid that I am now allergic against one of the safe ones, until I noticed the gifted one was opened and kind of shoved into a corner. Our other 2 are also opened and readily available. I just don't get it. I texted him and asked if he used the gifted laundry detergent for anything. He said yes. What's the big deal? I told him that that's not funny and he is potentially playing with the life of our unborn son and mine and why he thought that now of all times is the right time to test my allergy again. He called me a drama queen and ignored me after. So I changed my will. My fiancé gets nothing now, neither my part of the house nor my other assets. Everything goes to my son, with my family as trustees, until he is of age. If something were to happen to both my son and me, my cousins will be the sole inheritors. My fiancé was originally meant to be the trustee, with different guidelines, to make my son's life and is pretty comfortable. I trashed the old will, sent the new version to my lawyer, to make him look over it and plan to get it to a notary as soon as possible. Update 1. He kept doing mean things. Our animals don't seem to like him that much anymore. I gave the ring bah. CK, my car is not working. I want home. At least he got rid of the laundry detergent. Honestly, a lot has happened. I had a rather uneventful conversation with him, after he returned home. He justified his usage of the laundry detergent with the presence of cleaning towels in between the normal towels. I asked him how that matters. Well, apparently it's because I wasn't going to dry myself with those. I wasn't satisfied with that answer and asked about the normal towels, as there were only 2 for cleaning and over 10 normal ones, and how the smell of cleaning towels is even relevant, because like he said, they are for cleaning. He didn't answer and started ignoring me. That was answer enough for me though. I knew it was BS, but I'd kinda hoped for a better excuse. I was kind of withdrawn from him at this point and decided to watch his behavior towards me, to figure out what was going on. I thought that I might get an answer somehow, somewhere. Because he was my best friend and I just didn't want to believe that I mattered that lit to him. The next incident happened soon after though. I was carrying back a rather heavy drawer. I had to deep clean it. Mealworms escaped the enclosure. I am using them as food for my spider. As the drawer was so heavy, I struggled a lot, but he was busy working on some shelf. I asked him if he could help me, but he didn't react. So I asked him where I should put the drawer, as he was sitting in front of the shelf thingy, where it belongs. He told me to just put it on the floor, so I did. What I didn't see in time though, was my Kärcher. I put the drawer on the vacuum tube. Nothing broke, and even if it's mine, he wasn't using it ATM or anything. It was just laying in the middle of the room. He lost his shit. He asked me if I can't even use my one brain cell and other stuff, implying I am dumb. That hurt. More than I would like to admit. I started silently crying and went to the living room. He followed me quite some time late. Got upset with me, because I was still sad, and said it was just a joke. I told him I didn't find it funny and it hurt me, if he could just apologize, please. Spoiler, he did not. Just said it was a joke and we haven't had an argument before, so he didn't say it out of spite, but in a joking manner? I wish I could say it stopped there, but I fell and had mild cramps plus bloody knee. I called him on the phone, because I don't have any friends in this country yet and he was the only one available, plus I knew his boss would let him go, as he is a very kind man and he was supposed to end his workday 30 minutes from then anyway. That's what he had told me at least. I called him, he didn't pick up. I texted him, he didn't read my messages. He came home an hour late from work. He wasn't at work, he was visiting a friend, whom he gave the laundry detergent to. He helped me, but even a stranger would have been kinder and told me to just lay down, as I am too dumb to walk, endangering our son's life. I just wanted to take a nap and laid down on the couch, as it's way closer than the bedroom. He started to vacuum the house. I did it yesterday plus mopped the floor, so there wasn't a lot, but he spent 40 plus minutes vacuuming right next to me, walking in circles, cleaning the same spots over and over. Mumbling how I didn't clean today and how I'm such a messy person. Yes, I do like to leave my shirt occasionally on a chair, but I've cleaned every day, since I've been on maternity leave and before that too. I would be comfortable with visitors at any given hour. After he finished vacuuming, he asked me about some mop parts his grandmother put in our house weeks ago. Asking me what I am doing with them? I still don't understand what he meant by that. I told him his GM put them next to the vacuum cleaner. So much to I never clean and can't do anything right. If he would have ever decided to vacuum in the last weeks, he would have noticed them. But he decided to vacuum, while I was DOI-ing badly and just needed a nap. He just doesn't like me anymore. I am heartbroken to say that. But he truly doesn't. At least our cat and dog have picked up on that. Our cat keeps his distance from him now, doesn't want to be pet and bites/scratches him, when he tries to cuddle with him. My beloved dog keeps himself between me and him, follows me around and tries to avoid him. While he still wags his tail, when he comes home, it's just not the same. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't recognize him anymore. The animals can feel his anger too. He looks at me with such contempt and is very mean towards me. I thought he would be my forever. But he won't be. He is punching our walls, he is hiding his phone. I am sad and tired. I don't even have the energy to go through his phone, because even if there would be answers to his behavior, I just don't care anymore. I am just sad. I gave him the engagement ring back, he didn't seem to care. My car's battery doesn't work ATM, so I will have to figure that out. As some of you guessed, I am indeed from Germany, while he is from a neighboring country. I am 7 hours from my family and about 3 hours from the border. By car, so I don't have to fly, luckily. I am sleeping in the guest room, on a couch, for the time being. My ex-fiancé seems very content with that. Now he is just on his phone constantly and leaves me be, for the most part.